Hello.
Hey,
I sound like Marcus Butler.
Hello.
We're back, baby. Oh, dear.
You say it every week.
Sorry. I didn't say it last week though, did I? Stay.
There we go.
Be rude not to.
She can't resist.
Guys, we've missed you.
It's been a whole week. How have you been?
Been a whole week.
What have you been up to?
What's everyone been up to?
Comment what you've been up to. Can you comment on Spotify?
No, but we can do polls. So we should start. Guys, if you see a poll. Oh, yeah, also, can everyone give us a little rating on Spotify?
Yeah, 5 stars, obviously.
No, I mean, don't want to tell you what to rate us, but a rating would be great.
Yeah, nothing, at least 3. Come on.
Come on. Go on, 5-star rating. Guys, we've got limited time to film this episode today, so we are actually just going to dive right in.
Yeah.
We're going to cut the chat.
Some of us have got to go to work.
Do let us know, actually. I don't know. When we ask you to let us know things, I don't really know how you do that because you're listening, but you
just
know,
message us,
DM
text
at
us.
So From Rachel on Insta and TikTok.
We'll put our number in the comments.
But I am intrigued whether people like the chat at the start. Maybe we'll do a poll on the story.
Yeah.
But anyway, not today. So even if you do like it, there's no chat. Okay, today's
Let's go.
pod ep. So over to you.
Oh, can you give me a reminder of the wording, please?
All right, I'll do it. Today's podcast episode is It's Not Just You Who Struggles with Their Body Changing.
Okay. We're talking about the body.
Okay, we're going into body image today, guys.
Yes, sir.
We've not discussed it yet on the channel. Oh, not the channel. The
podcast. Yeah. We were chatting. We wanted to film an episode on, I guess, talking about appearance or something within that realm of conversation. And we just got chatting about, I guess, the reality of your body changing, which is obviously what the size of this podcast is. But I guess the reality, I think people don't fully talk about it, or I don't feel like when I was growing up it was spoken about, the fact that kind of, even I guess I was going to say, yeah, people say when you go through puberty your body changes. I kind of don't feel like even that is given enough airtime in terms of
it's basically
actually
like you'll get boobs.
what's going to happen. Yeah, they say that, like, oh, you get boobs, but like more stuff happens than that.
Yeah.
And then further on from that, I feel like, yeah, maybe they say, you know, if you have a baby, your body changes. Your body's changing before that.
What about the metabolic rate slowing down?
Yeah. Just all the stuff.
Your metabolism.
All the stuff that kind of, yeah.
When was the
with that.
first time you realised your body was changing as you were getting older?
Mine actually was when I went to uni, my first year of uni, because I think my body changed in terms of like puberty quite early on. And I actually haven't.
You're an early bloomer.
I mean, I've got no boobs, so.
So what changed?
Just like
Your hips.
just like my physique.
Yeah.
In terms of
You grow hips.
the way that I looked, I feel like changed fairly early on, and then almost I was just like, oh, this is the way that I look.
Yeah.
So probably most of my teenage life, actually, if I look at pictures of myself, I don't look that different. It's not like, oh, when I was 12 suddenly to when I'm 17, I looked massively different.
Yeah.
I think for me,
From 12 to 17, you didn't know.
I mean, I can insert some pictures if you like.
We can't. We're on a podcast.
Yeah. Well, more just like there wasn't tons of like transformation.
Okay, yeah.
I'd say it happened quite early on.
Yeah.
And then I was just
So,
fairly
yeah,
consistent.
okay.
If there was change, it would be fairly small and not noticeable enough that I was like, oh, I look so different.
Yes.
When I went to uni, I think it was what hit me more was like, I guess, adult body coming into action.
What does
I
that
can't
mean?
eat what I want without
right.
it not
So
affecting
it's not
my body.
really your body like changing in the puberty sense. It's more like basically your metabolism slowing down. So it's like I'm going to put on weight.
So my body has changed. My body changed, I'd say, because it was like.
But when you say changing, you're talking about putting on weight.
Yeah.
And I would say that's the same for me. I mean, I can't really pinpoint like throughout my teenage years where my body changed. It did change, but like I think it was just quite gradual. But I would say the first time I really started thinking like, oh, my body's changing in terms of like, I'm like gaining weight was also when I came to uni, and it was almost just suddenly like this thing of like, oh, like if I'm eating whatever I want, doing what, like I guess when you're younger, literally biologically, your metabolism's higher and it just burns, you know, you're burning energy the whole time.
I mean, also to be fair, my first year of uni, I was probably drinking quite a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, which is, I mean, guys,
probably
I'm not gonna
thousands
lie,
and thousands of calories.
When I look back at my lifestyle in first year of uni and second year,
Disgusting.
and just what I was consuming, it's actually vile. Like, for some reason, I drink 3 bottles of juice a week because I'd get them on a 3 for 2 deal at Morrison's. Like, just think how much sugar's like in that. And then like,
so what are you drinking? Like half a bottle of juice a day?
Yeah. Like, I drank so much juice because I think also because you're going out, I'd wake up in the morning and literally just down juice.
Yeah.
And then in second year, I had this really, really weird phase where when I would...
Brie?
No, Camembert.
Camembert,
when I would walk back from uni, I would go to the shop, buy a Camembert and a whole loaf of like white tiger bread and eat the whole Camembert and the whole loaf of bread for lunch. Like, what on earth? Like, I think I just love cheese, and
It's not the worst thing you could do, but it's...
Are you joking? A whole loaf of white bread and a Camembert every day. And I'm wondering...
It wasn't every day.
It was, okay, not every day, but like there was a phase. I'm saying it was
Also,
a phase.
can I just say, that is the most middle class thing I've ever heard in my life. I was eating Camembert every day.
It's actually not, because
and Rach used to eat mussels at uni.
Camembert's like 90p from Aldi.
I know, but it just feels middle class.
I know, but I think
and you'd be eating mussels and steaks.
If I'm being totally honest, I think I saw Zoella cook a
Who
Camembert.
did you think you were?
And I was like, that looks banging. So I had it and I was like, this is delicious.
The
like,
power of the
it's
influencer.
cheese and white bread. Like,
yeah.
And I just love cheese. Like, honestly, I would buy a whole block of cheddar like a week. It's just actually, like, right now I go through like a cheddar like once a month. Like, I genuinely would grate an entire cheddar because I just had pasta. So it's like all I'm eating is carbs and cheese, where it's like, and like, to be honest, guys, I'm very pro like eat. You know, I would be pro eat healthily and have a balanced diet, but like I've never, for me personally, been particularly restrictive over what I eat. But like there is a level where it's like what is healthy, like to consume that amount of cheese and white bread isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Like
your insides are crying out.
I definitely noticed it at that time. Oh, flip me, like
Chaz is getting a bit tight over here.
It's like, I wonder why. Put down the cheese.
The 6th Camembert this week.
But I would say over that first year, it was like, okay, my body's changed.
What about teenage years?
Well, the thing is, I think it's always this
When
thing.
did you get boobs? Tell me.
I don't know. I think around when I started my period, which was year 8.
Same.
But I think I don't think they just suddenly grew and then stopped. I feel like they must have grown for a bit.
I remember some girls in my year, it went from 0 to 100. You're a double A and then suddenly you're a triple D in one day.
It's so weird.
I know.
Like over the course of, let's say, a month, you've suddenly like you say, gone from, like, I remember buying my first crop top, bless me, like not a crop top, like the actual like bra crop top. Do you know what I mean?
No,
They were called crop tops where it was like there's no cups, it's just like a comfy kind of thing.
Almost like a sports bra.
yeah. And it was like,
Can I tell a story?
I know what story you're going to tell. What? Is it when you took off your top?
Yeah.
And everyone else had a bra.
Yeah. When I was in year 7, I remember going to...
Oh, I'm just dying for you.
When I went to school in year 7, I barely have any boobs now, but like...
What are you talking about?
I didn't have any boobs at all. So I'm like, I'm not wearing, like, I literally did not need to wear a bra. Like, there was nothing there. And so...
People used to call them, like, buds. Or like...
oh, no, sorry, that makes me feel sick.
Why do they call them buds? Like, oh, you little buds.
No, I think it's like you're budding. Like a flower. That's what I think of.
Oh, okay,
anyway,
carry on.
I'm in year 7, got no boobs. I go into PE and I've literally just got a school shirt on. I haven't got a vest on. So like, I guess it was that thing of like, I didn't need a bra, and it maybe was just a hot day and I didn't want an extra layer underneath.
So
but then
fair.
as I'm getting changed for PE, I go to take my shirt off and then it just hits me. I've got nothing on underneath. So
But why does it hit you? Is it because you're looking around seeing people's bras?
no, more just like as soon as I take the shirt off,
Would you
I'm
usually
fully
be
naked.
wearing a bra?
No, I'd normally be wearing like a vest or something.
Okay.
Like a covering layer.
Okay, right, yeah.
But I was like, if I undo the shirt, I'm just fully naked. And so, just probably I can't remember, maybe went into the toilets and put my pee top on there. But I think it was just that realization of, okay, maybe something needs to get bought. little M&S crop top, maybe.
Something to cover the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just honestly, school was tough at times. Like, just like when I think back to it, like it is hard. Like, you're constantly comparing yourself. You're looking around, you're wondering like, oh, that person's got boobs, I don't. Oh, that person's doing that. And like, you can feel so self-conscious.
For me, the main thing that I really struggled with was spots. Like, I never had spots to the point where it was like, it wasn't, I wouldn't go as, basically I went to the doctors and they were like, you've almost got like mild acne. So it wasn't full on like, red spots, like really, really obvious. But the whole of my skin texture was just like basically bumpy with like almost like under the surface spots.
I've had that.
And it was just like, and like I said, I didn't even have like the acne, but even just that is like, if I was sat as close as I was to you now, you're kind of like, I just feel so exposed that you can like see all of my skin. I'm struggling to make eye contact because I just feel like embarrassed or I'm looking at my friend, they've got no spots and I'm like, how can you have no spots? And I'm every day
and it's just wild how much those things consume your mind, because it's like, even if you're in conversation, like, people say this the whole time, but it is true. Like, that person talking to you is not in their mind thinking, safe skin. Oh my gosh, I can't even look at safe skin. Like, your mind is, they're thinking about what you're saying and what you're talking about and, whatever you're doing together. But like, because your mind is so consumed, you can't help but think everyone is thinking her skin. But it's like, even if they are thinking, oh, Soph's got some spots, so like, cool. Like, they're not thinking Soph's got some spots, so I need to end this conversation ASAP and walk away.
I can't even be
like,
in the same room.
Like, okay, cool, you've got some spots. That's okay. You're growing up. Like, you've got hormones going crazy. Like, and even if you are growing up and you've got spots, like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be the defining thing about you.
Yeah.
And people don't define you by your spots. So it's like, how can you try and,
Yeah.
But I guess, anyway, that's a bit of a side note. But I think with your body changing over time, the reality is like, one, your body's going to change. Yeah. It is going to change. You can't stop it. When you hit a certain age, you are going to start putting on weight. Cool. Well, even if you ate really healthily. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're the sports scientist here, but like, literally biologically, even if you're eating healthily, you're going to start, you're going to start putting on weight, aren't you? At a certain age, unless you're exercising.
Well, yeah, I guess it's, I can't bother to go into it, but in terms of like your body, well, this is what the thought that I had when I was thinking about this episode is, and I was saying to you before this, it's like, stop comparing your body to what it was when you were 16, 17 to what it is now, because you were a child then.
Come on.
And so your body as a child, when you're 16, 17, yes, you're not 12, but you've not fully finished going through puberty. The way that you look, that is not a realistic standard to set for yourself as to how you should look.
It's how you looked when you were 16. You're not 16.
Well, that's
You're not
it.
the same person. Yeah. So why would your body look the same?
Well, that's it. So I think for me at 24 and I feel like I've spoken to so many people where they've said this, and I've done it, where you go back, you look at a picture of yourself from, when you're like 17 and you're like, oh my gosh, like I look so much better then, or whatever thoughts come into your mind. And it's like, you were literally a child. Like you can't look at that and be like,
doing that. I remember, and also it's just the funny thing of at the time.
Yeah,
I
you probably
feeling
weren't
self-conscious about how I looked, like being like, oh, I've put on weight, and I'm literally, and it's that classic thing of like, you look back and you're like, right, okay, well, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's just this, I think the bigger question here is like, how do you learn to just be content with your body where it's at? And like, I think for me, as I've reflected on it, like, not to be cringe, but like, it is like a privilege to grow old. And like, it is sometimes really hard to think in that mindset, like, whether it's things like grey hairs or like putting on weight. Why are you looking at my
grey
hair?
hairs.
Why did you
I
just
just wanted to see if there was
can you see a shine in grey hair? But like,
No.
if I have a grey hair, it's learning to like reframe my thinking to, you know what? Not everyone does grow old. Not everyone does get to grow old. This is how your body changes over time. Like, and as long as I am healthy and my body is functioning well and enabling me to do things, like, great.
Yeah.
How can I love it? But then equally, we're also saying this whole thing of loving your body.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that, where it's like, yeah, it's great to love your body, but also just overall, generally, how can we take the emphasis off bodies altogether?
Yeah, yeah. I think, essentially what you just said, where with the whole, I guess, body positivity stuff, which I don't think is all bad, but I think there's still just a lot of emphasis on your body. And it's like, you know, kind of that whole message of, you should love the way that you look, love everything about you, love it all, love it. And it's like, I mean, if you can get to that point, amazing. Like, so good. But I think the reality for 99% of people on the planet, there will be something about the way that they look that they maybe aren't happy with, or they're like, oh, this could be different, or this could be changed. But I think, like you said, it's just how can we make it not about the way that we look? And actually, sometimes it's fine to go like, yeah, my body's not perfect, whatever you want to, I mean, the whole a body being perfect.
Yeah,
what does that even mean?
A perfect body?
But like my body, let's say my body doesn't look the way that I want it to look, but you know what? That's okay. Like that is fine. And I can do this. I can run, walk, like the things that your body can do, celebrating that and actually not so much about, oh, there's a spot on my ear. Who cares?
I think also, like, rather than focusing on like how our bodies are changing, could we not focus more, like we're saying, taking the emphasis off our bodies and being like, how am I changing, developing as a person?
Yeah.
In terms of like, again, I know Soph and I have like mentioned this before, but like just trying like more and more to focus less on like the just generally appearance and like bodies and whatever, and more like, as I get older, okay, to some extent I can control how my body looks, but I also, there are things I can't. I can't control having grey hair. I can't control, like, I can diet, but like these things are going to happen. But what I can think and put more effort into is like, who am I? Like, as I'm getting older, am I becoming like more mature? Am I like loving the people in my life really well? Am I like going on adventures? Am I like enjoying my work? Am I putting stuff into, you know, the people around me? Like all these kind of things that make up a life. Yeah. I think sometimes it's so easy to allow the way that you look to consume your mind. I agree. And it's actually like, what if overall we just take the emphasis away from that a little bit and think more like, okay, I might not feel super confident about how my body's changed, but in that same space I've become so much more mature, or I've learned this like life lesson that has like really helped me, or, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Like,
I do.
Why is there so much emphasis?
Why? But I think, right, my massive thought around this as well is that so many parts of how our body changes, or the way that we look, that are, you know, kind of deemed unattractive or not good, every person, I think to some extent, like has one of those things. Like let's take getting older. It's almost, I think society wants you to try and stop this process, which is the most almost natural thing that happens to any human being, but almost with all these things, dye your hair, Botox, like all these things which can kind of make you look younger. Well, actually, what if everyone just let themselves get old? Do you know what I mean? Or where it's like, oh, you've got a spot, or you've got cellulite, or whatever it is, and it's like all these things that people try and hide, when in reality, everyone has
like,
it.
No
to
one
some
has
extent.
never. Like, I genuinely don't know anyone who's never not had a spot.
Yeah, but I just find it so bizarre that something that happens to every human being, or stuff that, you know, is part of all of us, everyone tries to hide. It's like, imagine if everyone just accepted it.
True.
And like almost you'd walk around and you'd just see a way fuller kind of expression of humanness.
And this goes back to like where I'm saying, and when you do see someone who is accepting it, i.e. I'm thinking of people I know who have let themselves go grey and they are like fairly young, they look sick.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not there like, why have you let yourself go grey? Like, I don't know if I want to talk to you actually because you've got grey hair. It's like, what, like genuinely, like the people I know have let themselves go fully grey, rock it. Or like the people that, you know, like, I think the point is like you live under this narrative that people will treat you differently if you don't look a certain way. Obviously in some industries, i.e. modelling, like, you know, so much of it is based around the way you look. And like generally in life, okay, there are biases, but like,
yeah, I just
on the whole,
I just think, on the whole, are your friends going to treat you differently because
is your family?
No, and that's more just where I guess it comes into then how much are you going to let that dominate your thinking? Because I think the thing is more in the reality is, if you've got a spot, you need to go and leave the house. So you're gonna do it regardless. So it's not like, oh, all these things are legit stopping you from doing stuff. But I think it's more like the mental capacity that it's taking of you comparing, I used to look like this, now I look like this, and this person doesn't have spots and I do, or this person is slimmer than me, and I'm like, all these thoughts that can just be like consuming your brain. It's not as easy as just, we'll just get rid of them. But I think it's, are you going to allow it to rule your mind and your thinking?
Yeah.
Because, you're probably not, hiding away in your house.
Yeah.
But I think it's more just the mental capacity that it's taking.
100%.
What about then, just quickly, like, where, I don't know, you're at with this thing, like with your body changing, like what are your thoughts on it presently now?
I think for me, like, if I'm honest, there are days where I do struggle with how my body looks, or I'd love it to look a certain way. But where I am currently at is like prioritizing more like my mental health and mentally how I'm doing. So like I will exercise, and at the moment I'll like run quite a bit. It doesn't really change my body at all because I eat what I want. Even when I, and to be honest, I do have quite a healthy diet. Like, I don't think I eat unhealthily, but I do a fair amount of exercise and I don't really see any change in my body. And obviously there's a way to, exercise and change your body. Like if you're going about it seriously. But for me, at the moment, I exercise because it really helps me mentally. So even though I look at my body and I sometimes think, I wish it looked another way, or, I wish, I don't fit these trousers anymore, or whatever. I think overall, I'm like, just learning to embrace, okay, that is what it is. Like, I know that if I really, really wanted to, there are ways I could change that, but actually it's okay. It's okay for my body to look different right now. Like, I care more about my mental health and focusing on that as opposed to my physical body image, if that makes sense.
And also not that you're neglecting your physical health because you are exercising.
Yeah. So it's like good, but more for just me. Not doing it with fitness.
The intention of.
Yeah, I'm fairly fit, but my body is not, an athlete's body or whatever. But so I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess overall what I'm saying is right now I'm in a season of life where I'm focusing more on my mental health than my body image, and it's really good for me.
Yeah.
And like that's, I think when I feel good mentally and I'm in a good place, then actually, you know, my body is what it is. Like,
yeah.
What about you?
I think that I mean, a main thing for me is that I've not really got a regular kind of exercise routine at the moment. And that's something that I would like to change. Like I said, not just because I'm like, oh, I want to look a certain way, but I really love playing sports and I just miss playing sports. And also, obviously, you know, exercise is good for you. So I think that is something that I'm more conscious of. And then I think in relation to that, I'm like, I probably don't feel like as good as I could in my body because I'm not like, the thing is that my job's fairly active. So I'm not sat at a desk all hours of the day, but definitely I think could feel better in my body, but more not in the sense of because I need to get it to this size or because I need to lose X amount of weight, but more just because it's like I'm not really moving it as much as I would like to. I think sometimes I don't know why, I almost have a bit of a fear of like, what if my body just, I don't know, like just kind of, you know, when something's so gradual that you don't notice it and then you get to this day and you're like, oh, what have I let happen?
Yeah.
I think that's probably tying in with the exercise thing. But I think because I'm not being too on it with like looking after my body as well as I could be, I'm like, I just basically don't want to let my health kind of derail to the point where I get down, you know, a year later and I'm like, oh, I've kind of let my body change, but not in like the natural sense of changing, more in like I've not looked after it.
Well, I guess that's what we're both basically coming at that question more from a health perspective of,
okay, naturally.
So I guess like right now for us, I guess then the answer is we're fairly content because we're focusing more on health.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think sometimes I do still sometimes, struggle. If I'm being honest, just struggle where I will like look at someone else and compare and be like, I wish I looked more like them. I think
summer's particularly bad for it for me.
Yeah.
It's just the bikinis, like, and you're just like, like, you know, when you just realise all the thoughts going around your mind when you're like lying on a beach and you're just looking at everyone's like bodies and being like, flip me, mine doesn't look like that.
Or even like this weekend I was at Hendu and we all went swimming and like literally subconsciously, but you just, you know, kind of catch yourself being like, oh, they look so good. I don't look like that. Or like,
why have I got fat here? Why have I got fat there?
The reality is that there will be times where I'm like, oh, you know, I don't always 100% like the way that I look. But I'd say for me, that's more combated with just not paying too much attention. Yeah. With like not giving the way that I look enough space to consume all my thoughts in my mind and there's other stuff I can be getting on with.
There's other things I need to think about. There's health I need to think about. That's my priority. I think that's basically what we're getting at. How can we focus on health, mental health, who we're becoming, and take less emphasis away from my body doesn't look like it did when I was 15. It's not going to.
So some thoughts on body changing and it's not just you that finds it hard, that sometimes compares, that struggles, and I think that's fairly widely known. But I'd say, I guess it's the aspect of, I just think sometimes it's not spoken about the fact that your body changes and that means that you almost have to be constantly moving and changing your mindset with your body changing. Do you know what I mean? It's quite like a active process.
I guess it's just the link between mental health like and your body, like just it's all linked, isn't it?
It's like I need to change my perspective on who I am because this is blah blah blah. So you guys know what I mean. They know what I mean.
You know what we mean.
But yeah, it's been a good chat today, hasn't it?
Yeah, I hope you guys
Hope this has
enjoyed
been
this.
helpful.
Let us know your thoughts as well. Have you struggled with your body changing, or has it felt a very natural process, you know?
Yes.
I feel like at times everyone does, but yeah.
Yes. Well, we'll see you soon,
Food for
guys.
thought. See you guys soon.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.